Welcome to SeatGeek Stadium, just on the outside of Chicago, Illinois in Bridgefield for this matchup in the Eastern Conference between Chicago Fire 2 and FC Cincinnati 2 in the Eastern Conference. Hello family, I'm James Hadnot. Thank you so much for joining us. This matchup of high importance for both of these teams. Chicago trying to clinch a playoff spot and Cincinnati trying to stay alive in the playoff race. You see where the two teams are right now. Cincinnati on the outside looking in, but a win today puts them right in the thick of things for that final playoff spot. And for Chicago, a win today would clinch a playoff spot. They'd sit on 46 points and they'd actually move above Huntsville and really put themselves in a good position to potentially pick their opponents with a couple of weeks remaining in the season. Now let's take a look at, of course, some of these players that are going to perform this evening for Chicago. A couple of players on loan now, whether it's Claudio Cassano, who has more than 20 goal contributions, as well as Dean Boltz, who is with Forward Madison. They're going to have numerous players step up. Young players are going to be key, like a Trip Fleming, as well as players like Dylan Borso. And now for Cincinnati, similarly, their captain Brian Schaefer out on loan. And so they'll need younger players like Noah Adenon and Dylan Hurtado to step up. And that man making his first start of his young career at 17 years old, the goalkeeper, Slade Hall. So a lot of interesting wrinkles to this matchup, whether it be the youth or whether it be the experience. Who's going to take advantage of this opportunity? Now let's take a look at the starting 11 for both Chicago and Cincinnati, starting with the Fire and Coach Mike Makovich sitting out a 4-3-3. They make two changes from their 2-2 draw with New England. Damian Neck will be starting for the first time, number 55. He will play in the center forward role. And then Gani Kayane will also be starting here today. He'll be in that right back role for Chicago. Now moving to the starting 11 for Cincinnati. They make three changes after their 2-1 loss to Philadelphia. It will be Caicedo, Opeyemi, and the aforementioned Slade Hall, all starting for Hall. Just 17 years of age, he's a part of the FC Cincinnati Academy, and what a moment for him on the road behind enemy lines, needing a result to stay alive in the playoff race. Chicago in their red kits and Cincinnati in their white kits with blue stripes. There's the opening whistle, and we begin from SeatGeek Stadium, a matinee matchup in this Eastern Conference race. Chicago Fire 2 and FC Cincinnati 2. James Hadnot here with you. Kenji and Bomadem immediately on the ball, trying to keep possession, but he's dispossessed by Charles Nagel. Stepping in front of that, pumping it out, is Dylan Hurtado, and talking with Coach Ty Marshall for FC Cincinnati. A couple of losses recently, as this team has had really just a rough stretch at the wrong time of the year. And he mentioned that we've been close, but not close enough. The quality that we have needed has let us down in key moments. Thinking back the match versus Carolina Core, or even versus Philadelphia, in which they had opportunities but could not take advantage, and that's what put them in the position that they are in. However, everything is out in front of them. They have a lot of tough opponents. They will play Philadelphia again. They will play here today versus Chicago and versus New England. So in their final 5 matches, they'll take on 3 of the top 5 teams in the East. And so looking at a glass half full, if they were to take down those squads, then they will prove that they are worthy of a playoff spot. But if they were unable to do just that, then it would make sense because of the teams that they were playing who are at the top of their game. Chicago has been hovering around the top of the Eastern Conference all season long, and one thing to note, they have a player on their bench who is the MVP of the league, David Pareba, as there's a foul by Nagel on Stefan Chirilla. It is an excellent sight on the bench today for Chicago that Pareba is back and available for selection. He had an ACL injury back in February, has rehabbed all year after having such a phenomenal year last year, earning the MVP, winning the Golden Boot, earning a first-team contract for the team that he grew up playing for and idolizing. And now he is back available for selection today. Third minute of action, Cincinnati with a set piece on the road, trying to stay in the playoff hunt. Mangione and Mbomedem both standing behind this free kick. And Mbomedem lifts the ball towards the back post. It's nodded right at the goalkeeper. And Brian Down easily brings that in. It was a free header, but no power behind it for Noah Adnan. So now Cincinnati, who was an excellent defensive team, trying to put some pressure on. A little shove, and the whistle blows for Alex Bielert, our referee today. We talked about some of the missing pieces for Cincinnati. Already mentioned Brian Schaefer, Amir Daly have been sent out on loan, really to help expand their careers. Same could be said for players like Claudio Cassano, Diego Konings, and Dean Boltz of Chicago. And talk with Coach Makovich about those players who have had integral parts of the second team this year. Not going to be a part of it for the stretch run. Wanted to give them a chance to expound on their careers. They developed here with Chicago throughout the season and want to grow elsewhere. Some of those teams, whether it's in the second tier here in the United States or for Classano, who has gone on to play in the Swiss League, giving those teams chances to excel. And also looks very good for this organization and players that they developed throughout the year and put the second team in a good position to make the playoffs. And they could do the same for teams abroad. This throw-in, looking for Mbomedem. Borso sends this back into a dangerous space, headed away by Fleming. And Mbomedem trying to turn, but it'll be Alpha Diouf who will go back to his goalkeeper. Excellent pressure being put on by Cincinnati as they've won the ball back. Kulmana, a little tap forward, and the ball is lost. Fleming, good ball around. Now Niek. Ball, looking for Stefan Chirilla, the homegrown. And now Chicago once again will have to deal with this high press of Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a team that does not give up very many goals. That's really been their calling card this year, but they have struggled to score. Least goals in the Eastern Conference, second least in the league. So an early goal for them would be humongous here on the road. Chicago has had no trouble scoring all season long. Put up 9 goals versus the team at the top of the East in the Red Bulls earlier this year here at SeatGeek Stadium. Borso behind Berg. Now Nagel holding on to the ball. Does just enough to ensure that Ukulmana doesn't get it. But now Chirilla. There's a little shove by Chirilla of Alpha Diouf. But Chicago back on the ball. But you can see very aggressive start for Cincinnati. That is top down. That's how this team likes to play. Long ball into Niek. Holds off play well. And then Fleming fires out to Borso. Ball returned to Borso. Gliding in the attack. Dropping it off. And this shot takes a deflection. It's Montiel. Dumped over the top. Kanyane can't keep it in. So this is what you want if you are Slade Hall. You have an aggressive team defensively from the top all the way back through the 11. You'd love to have a calm day at the office. Just 17 years of age, the academy product making his first start, his first appearance for FC Cincinnati. And Bomadem in some space. Switches the point of attack. Hurtado has Locker on the underlap. Retreats to Mbomadem. Ukulmana. Caicedo. Nice little touch forward. Now Chirilla. Nice skill from Stefan Chirilla. Adnan. Around to Locker. Cross comes in, and then it's cut out by Fleming. Excellent box defending from Chicago. But Cincinnati starting to sizzle here within 15 minutes. They're connecting passes really well in this attacking third. Very calm and comfortable on the ball. That's what Coach Ty Marshall wants to see, wants the quality to be on display. Chirilla's header bounces out for a Chicago goal kick. We talked about the ability to score for Chicago. Second most goals in the league, 56, only behind New York Red Bulls, who have 61. Their goal differential plus 17, that's 5th best in the league. Only to Philadelphia, Huntsville, St. Louis, and the Town. And so, not only do they score, but they score in bunches, and they can keep you off the score sheet when they're at their best. This ball's given away, and Bomadem trying to attack, and he'll deemed guilty for that shove. Excellent retreat there by Jonah Montiel after losing possession, racing in front of Mbomadem to stop that attack. 12th minute of action, no score. Turndine. Aaron pass forward. A goal kick coming for Cincinnati. Chirilla once again shows excellent skill to pick up possession. Now siphons this ball forward. Winning possession. That's well done by Opayemi. Bomadem can't connect back with Chirilla. And so Alpha Diouf has to send it away, but only as far as Mangione. Now Ukulmana, a deep effort, does not challenge Brian Dowd. Another goal kick for Chicago. Locker wins a deep throw in. A nice 1-2 there as Hurtado sent the ball into the box. Cincinnati has really owned this first quarter of an hour. They've had most of the possession. They've been putting the pressure on this Fire defense. Ukulmana receives it back from Mbomadem. Now out wide to Hurtado. Hurtado cutting in. Chirilla could not strike it. Again, excellent action. Hurtado with a smooth ball right into Stefan Chirilla. And his touch opened up just a blade of green grass to give him an opportunity to shoot. Did not strike it clean. That's the quality that Coach Marshall wants to see in the attack. Just the execution that's been lacking as well. Quick ball, but it's past Chirilla. Opayemi, excellent ball out wide to Carson Locker. Chicago getting numbers back, but now Chirilla stepping up. As this ball was pulled back, could not put it on frame. What we've seen from Cincinnati is they've been first to the ball, especially on most of these aerials. They've been in the right places defensively to win the balls higher up the pitch. They put pressure on Chicago to make it difficult on the Fire. And Chicago really hasn't been able to connect any passes to really get that strong attack going. Similarly here, ball's lost. And Bomadem can't work around Nagel. Adnan. Ukulmana. This ball from Cusel takes a deflection. This has been a part of the defensive game plan for Cincinnati as well. They really have not wanted to give the ball or allow for the front three to be a part of the attack. Carson Lonker has it now. Churilla takes a touch, then the deflection. But guess who's home on the line? Jean Alpha Diouf. So as Lonker drew this back, Churilla takes the touch to get onto his left, and his shot is off of Trip Fleming. It takes the bite out of the ball, and Alpha Diouf in the right place, covering for his goalkeeper who had already dove to his right. And the left side of the goal occupied. Now Carson Lonker requiring medical attention. So just making sure that no blood is coming from that nostril. As we near 18 minutes gone, Cincinnati with its best chance of the match up to this point. So the bleeding has been stopped. Carson Lonker will continue to play, and Cincinnati has a deep throw in as they search for that opening goal on the road. FC Cincinnati 2 and Chicago Fire 2. Churilla, a little tap, ball bouncing around, and Chicago will clear it away. Chicago Fire 2 with the win today clinches a playoff spot. They'd sit on 46 points. They would have more wins outright than Philadelphia. They would move all the way up to second in the Eastern Conference as they search for not only a playoff spot, they'll have a home playoff game. This is an excellent ball forward to Mangione. As he tried to draw it back, could not connect with a teammate arriving. Chicago would find themselves second in the Eastern Conference. Although Huntsville has more wins outright, they wouldn't have as many points. They'd be sitting on 45 compared to the 46 of Chicago. Cincinnati just trying to stay alive in the playoff race. And Bomadem puts this in on the deck, a little flick back. Opeyemi had the flick, but it was cleared away by Chicago. Quick whistle, so Churilla receives it back. Kenji Mbomadem, one of the leading scorers on this team. Now Dylan Hurtado. Possession dominated by Cincinnati in the early going. They've had the one shot on target. Churilla, heavy ball all the way across. Hurtado tracks it down on the touchline. Slid to Mangione. And just excellent defending there by Joyner Montiel. Cutting in front of Mangione, did not allow for the former Nittany Lion to launch the ball into the box. Can Chicago create? The answer up to this point is no, as Cincinnati wins the ball back. This very high-powered offense for the Fire has not started ablaze just yet. captain, Mangione. Connects with Hurtado. Logger loses possession for a moment, but Cincinnati quickly back on the ball. And there have been half chances for Cincinnati as well. They found the player that they want in Stephon Chirilla, former MLS Next All-Star, signed his first-team contract last season after a glorious start to the year. Wonderfully done defensively by Opeyemi. Now Ukulmana. Mbomadem. Mangione controls for Cincinnati. Chicago is staying very compact. Foul there as Mangione goes down. Robert Turndine commits the foul. Hurtado. And Mbomadem. And now Yorkaev Caicedo. Chirilla continues to showcase his footwork, sends the ball to Hurtado, thought about entering the box. Now Hurtado can't earn his team a goal kick, or excuse me, a corner kick. It will be a goal kick for Chicago. Look at the numbers right now. More than 56% of possession for Cincinnati. It feels like more. 5 shots for Cincy, just 1 shot for Chicago through 25 minutes and change. Mangione forces this turnover, but as the ball popped up, the whistle blows and Chicago will have possession. Mentioned it earlier, the defensive prowess of Cincinnati, allowing just 33 goals on the year. That's 4th least in the Eastern Conference. They're second to last in goals for, with just the 26. Or they're second to last in the league with just the 26 goals scored. They scored the least in the East. Only Sporting Kansas City has scored less with 25. That's why 1 goal not only can change this match, but can potentially change their season. Nagel wide of the mark. That's the best attack of the day for Chicago. these are the matches, the moments where you really start to develop your team as you get down the stretch and having to play to the moment, knowing what is required, what's necessary. Because for Cincinnati, you have to get points from this match. It's imperative. If you're Chicago, you need just 3 points to clinch a playoff spot with a couple of matches remaining in the year. Of course, seeding is of importance. You want to be able to pick your opponent, want to be able to have a home playoff match. But if you are Cincinnati, you have to go for it right now because the schedule doesn't get any easier down the stretch. Chicago has weathered this early storm from Cincinnati throughout the first almost half an hour. Can they take advantage, being the home team? Kenyane, long ball. And Slade Hall at 17 almost made a mistake touching the ball outside of the box. Quick throw in. Montiel turns it over. And Cincinnati playing transition. And Bomadem gives it away, but it's a foul. Alpha Diouf does well. That should be a foul on Stephon Chirilla, and he'll receive a yellow card for impeding that attacking action. That's something that Jean Alpha Diouf does so well when it comes to stepping up and stepping in front, especially when it's a forward trying to hold up play higher up the pitch. He knows when to make that move, when to be a little bit more aggressive. That's why he has a couple of goals scored on the year as well. So now the yellow card given to Stephon Chirilla. Free kick for Chicago in the 31st minute. Still no score between these Eastern Conference sides. Headed away by Chirilla. Chicago trying to keep possession. Borso can't control, as Mbomadem was defending him. And that will be a Chicago corner. So we talked about the momentum, how it was in favor of Cincinnati through the first really 25 minutes of this match. Then we saw the shot from Chicago and Charles Nagel. And now the corner coming just 5 minutes later as the Fire trying to get on the board. Ball comes into the box, and the second effort is wide of the mark from Robert Turndine. This portion of the match is brought to you by Carvana. 32nd minute. No score between Cincinnati and Chicago. Chicago trying to take advantage. In possession now, Borso slipping it into Montiel. Ukalmana commits the foul. And now a free kick, a little bit closer. Maybe the first time that Slade Hall will be tested here today. Joyner Montiel. A potential kick taker, as well as Dylan Borso, who signed his first team contract in December of last year. In the 34th minute, Montiel just wide. Here was the opportunity from Montiel. You see Hall racing for it, and it just bounced wide of the mark. On a full sprint was Yorkaev Caicedo. Just couldn't keep it in play. Down that left touchline. Coming out of nowhere was Tripp Fleming. Turndine slowed his run to stay on side and continue this offensive action. This is Fleming still with it, and Boumediene trying to dispossess him. Alpha Juve, long ball, errant in the end. Throw in coming for Cincinnati. Wonderfully done to take advantage. This is Kenyane racing into the attack. Launches the ball in. Left for Nyek. Still with it. And his pullback was pushed away. Nagel, Montiel can't keep possession. Now Boumediene on the hop. And Kenji Boumediene goes into another gear. Has Chirilla with him. Could not put it into his path. Stefan Chirilla eludes a defender. Now Chirilla has his shot take a deflection, and the ricochet was punched away. So suddenly this match has come alive. This is Nagel into Borso. Frommer off his right side, receives it. Ball comes in. Frommer heads it back. And neither ball could find Nyek. Now Ukalmana gives it away. Borso had the right idea, just could not execute. The ball into Robert Turndine. Alpha Juve, just very strong. Has a great frame, especially to play in that back four. Never feels like he's going to be overmatched in a challenge. And right there, you see Chirilla, as he was trying to body him, just kind of waved him off, and ended up he was the one that was fouled. So Hugo Berg, a little touch forward. Now Alpha Juve, who does have the license to come forward himself. Brought down by Caicedo. And Bomadem. Ukulmana connects with Hurtado. This portion of the match is brought to you by Wintrust. Ukulmana does well to elude that tackle. 40th minute. No score. Chicago now has 4 shots compared to 6 for Cincinnati, but they have been the team doing the attacking since the first 30 minutes of action. Mangione dumping this towards Carson Locker, has an underlap. It's Hurtado, takes it on the hop. Hurtado! Can't challenge Dowd. And you see in the attack, doing some of the difficult parts. Hurtado taking that ball down in stride. Carson Locker finding Dylan Hurtado on the underlap. It's just that final action, that last bit, excuse me, of quality necessary to find a goal. All of these players have it for Cincinnati. It's just putting it on display. Turnover force by FC Cincinnati 2. Opeyemi. Ukulmana. And the slow, persistent approach continues for Cincinnati. Again, Cincinnati needing points from this match, sitting on 29. Right now, 8th place. Orlando has 33. So all 3 points would be humongous for Cincinnati. 2 points would put them in a good position down the stretch for that final playoff spot, with 4 matches remaining for them. Hurtado, no options attacking the box, so he'll work back. Now around to Caicedo. Opeyemi and Bomadem. Now Borso barreling forward. Nyek takes the touch. Damian Nyek still with it. And because he never completely had his footing, play on is the decision there. Although there was contact in the box, Alex Buehler says play on. Young player and Noah Adenon having to step up in that moment, defending Damian Niek. Talked about it earlier. No Brian Schaefer, no Amir Daly. They've been stalwarts in the back line for Cincinnati over the past, really, 2 seasons. They were a part of the team last year that won the regular season in the East, falling in the playoffs. And they are now on loan, so it will be new players like Husel and Adnan who have to step up and be leaders on that back line. Foul here in the 44th minute. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hyundai. Free kick for Chicago. Dead even, 0-0 right now on the score. It's Montiel and Borso once again. Place it right in between. They go short to Borso. Borso's going to shoot, and first save made of the day by Slade Hall. His first career save. I was going to say that they could play it in between the penalty spot and that 6-yard box, but they decided to go to Borso for his shot, and wasn't the worst. There's a foul. Whistle blows with the player still down behind the action. So Yorkaev Caicedo needing an extra moment to rise to his feet. Caicedo is okay. He's walking it off. Cincinnati will have a free kick with minimal time remaining in this first half. The fourth official announcing a minimum of 1 minute of added time. Churilla loses possession, and this could be an opportunity for Chicago. Niek can't keep possession as he worked into the box. Opeyemi holding on to it for Cincinnati. Locker into Ebomadem. Can Cincinnati take advantage of what little time remains? Stefan Churilla lost possession. And with that collision between Yorkaev Caicedo and Josue Fromer, that might do it for this first half. There's your halftime whistle. Neither side could break through on the scoreline. Chicago Fire 0, Cincinnati 0 at halftime. Coming up, highlights, stats in our upcoming schedule as the playoff picture starts to take shape. But first, we continue our latest visit with LAFC 2. Let's hear from the manager, Junior Gonzalez.
Go by Junior Gonzalez. Head coach for LAFC 2.
For Junior Gonzalez, coaching in Los Angeles is deeply personal. It's home.
Yeah, it's important for me. This is a market that I grew up playing in and grew up, was raised in. I've had the privilege of working in different markets for different clubs, but my time here in Los Angeles in this market near my family is really important to me.
And through experiences at every level, college, MLS, and internationally, Gonzalez has built a well-rounded approach to coaching.
having those experiences where you're able to be exposed to international youth development is important. Being involved in, collegiate, club, MLS, national team, youth academy to second teams to first teams. It's given me a well-rounded perspective on just the different levels.
At the core of that approach is a philosophy built on relationships and teaching.
Understanding the individual and the person that you're working with is the key. And every level, even the first team levels, second team. The modern player is more exposed to more football now, and so them understanding the reasoning of why we're teaching and the how and the why and how it relates to our club and our philosophy is the most important.
But what does success really look like for a second team head coach? For Gonzalez, it's a balance between results and development.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we're in a sport, right? And we all want to win and compete and have success. And having that mentality with the players' development in the forefront and balancing that out is the secret to it.
And while wins matter, so does teaching players how to respond to adversity.
This year we're having to learn some hard lessons and now lower in the table, which is also part of development. How do you continue striving to work yourself out of a position like that, which they're going to see in their the next years as they continue developing as pros. And it's never that easy in a first team environment either. There's going to be ups and downs where you're moving up and down the table. And how do players deal with those scenarios from a psychological standpoint? How do they stay motivated?
That development happens in a culture built on respect, accountability, and growth.
We have a lot of young players, and so having a group of veteran players that can help mold those younger players and show them what it is to be a professional, how they carry themselves, everything from their diet to what they do once they get into the building to how they prepare themselves for training, post-training. There's so much about being a professional that's not just on the field. And ideally, we want an environment and a culture where everyone respects each other and that they're free and they feel safe to speak.
For Junior Gonzalez, the mission is clear. Guide young players, build a strong culture, and prepare the next generation of LAFC talent for the highest stage.
MLS debutant Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair. Action.
Attracted, I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Halftime continues here with an LAFC two-player profile on midfielder Jude Terry. Terry is a local player who made his way from the U12 squad up to MLS NEXT Pro and earned a spot on the USA U17 national team. The future is bright for Jude Terry. Let's learn more.
Jude Terry, I'm a central midfielder and I play for LAFC. When I first started the academy, I wasn't the smallest guy, but I was one of the younger guys, and I feel like that in a way helps me.
Jude's journey with LAFC began when he joined the academy at age 12. the Chula Vista native quickly learned the value of playing up against older competition.
When I first started the academy, I wasn't the smallest guy, but I was one of the younger guys, so obviously going through the academy, going up the ranks, I was always considered one of the younger guys, and I feel like that in a way helped me, always having to play with older guys, getting that experience early with the 07s and the U15 GA Cup and the playoffs. I think that helped me. Yeah, no, the academy, I always got opportunities. I think LAFC is a really good club where they give opportunities to younger guys. They try to move them through the ranks when they're ready, and I think that helped me and ultimately got me to where I am now.
Those early lessons prepared him for the next step, making his MLS NEXT Pro debut with LAFC 2.
It was the first game of the season with the second team, and building up through that in preseason, I was getting some playing time in the preseason friendlies. I was training good. I was talking with Coach Junior, and he was not saying that I was going to debut, but kind of hinting at it. And leading up to that game, I kind of went into that game knowing that I was going to play. So I went in, I was excited, I was ready, and getting that debut was just that next step in my career. And obviously I was excited, I was happy, and it was just a great experience.
Competing week in and week out at the professional level gave Jude a new perspective on his game and pushed him to keep improving.
Jude is a very special player. His ability to understand spaces on the field, change a rhythm with the ball, his positioning without the ball, his ability to make final passes, to create goal-scoring opportunities is very good.
Yeah, last year, obviously when I wasn't signed, it was good. It was good for me. It showed me a little glimpse of what the pro level was like, and it helped me develop into what LAFC needs. And obviously I'm still trying to improve and trying to break into that first team, but yeah, getting minutes with the second team, getting regular minutes as a starter with the second team last year was really good. It helped me develop.
I do feel that he is now understanding that the game is a lot faster when you move up to a second team environment at such a young age, even with the international games that he's playing with the USA youth national team, and also the first team opportunities that he's had in preseason. And he's now bought into working on the defensive side of the ball. That work is just as important as the work with the ball.
Jude Terry taking one on! A wicked deflection and 1-1!
Jude has stepped into a bigger role with higher expectations and a greater impact on the pitch.
I think last season, it was obviously, since I was starting off, it was a little different role for me. I was almost just getting into it. I was just getting into that pro environment, but now signing that homegrown, I've kind of got a different role in the team and a role that expects a lot out of me.
Whether dictating play, creating chances, or doing the dirty work defensively, Jude's versatility has earned him recognition and ultimately a homegrown contract.
When I got that call where they're like, oh, they're gonna offer you a homegrown, it was definitely exciting. It was definitely that moment where like, oh, I'm getting what I want in a way. It was definitely a moment to remember.
For Jude, representing the U.S. on the international stage has given him perspective on what it means to wear the crest.
Being able to represent your country, it's what you want to do as a player. It's what you want to have in your career, being able to wear that crest, being able to wear that jersey and enjoy it with your teammates. Obviously, you don't see those guys all the time, but sometimes I feel like those connections you make in that national team are some that are the most meaningful and last a lifetime. So yeah, no, being able to wear that jersey, it's something you wear with pride, you wear with honor. It's something that every time you step on the field, you're not just playing the game anymore. You're playing for something, and you're playing to represent something. So
I believe his future is really bright within our country, hopefully for our national teams, and in these next years that he's getting an opportunity with the first team.
At the end of the day, if you don't play the game with passion and you don't love the game, then you're not going to enjoy what you're doing. And at the end of the day, I feel like that for me is something that I do. I just play the game with as much passion, and I try to enjoy every moment. And I feel like when I'm at my best, like I'm just enjoying it.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Yeah, I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Action.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Welcome back to SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. Chicago Fire FC 2 and FC Cincinnati 2, 0-0 at the halftime break. As we take a look at our upcoming schedule. And we have our stats as well for the first half. FC Cincinnati with 7 shots and with 5 shots for Chicago. Only 1 shot on target for one of the most high-powered offenses in the entire MLS Next Pro. So as we get ready and think about the second half, we'll see if Chicago can find more shots on target and put more pressure on the debutant Slade Hall. Now let's take a look at the highlights from half number 1. We talked about the lack of pressure put on the debutant, but Cincinnati put some pressure on Brian Dowd. As Carson Locker pulls this back, Stefan Chirilla's shot took a deflection and John Alpha Diouf was there. This was a whipping effort from Joanna Montiel. Slade Hall watched it the entire way as it bounced out. A little bit later in the half, it was Chirilla again, a part of the attack. And this time, his shot took a deflection and it was saved by Dowd. And then the best opportunity, the lone shot on target for Chicago, was Dylan Borso right here. There was a bit of a spill, but Slade Hall was able to corral it. Now we get a chance to take a look at the upcoming schedule. You see later this week, fun matchup between Tacoma and Austin. St. Louis continues their unbeaten streak. It's had a league lead. They continue that league lead. The Town, who had their unbeaten streak snapped by Minnesota just a couple of weeks ago, they'll take on the Whitecaps. And then a top 5 matchup in the Eastern Conference. Red Bulls taking on Huntsville City later on in the weekend. Well, just to reiterate, if Chicago can scratch all 3 points from this match, they will move into second place and notch a playoff spot. Already teams that have clinched a playoff berth, Red Bulls and Philadelphia. Philadelphia sitting on 46 points, but they have just 11 wins in regulation. So a win today would give Chicago 12 wins in regulation, and they would move to second in the East for Cincinnati, currently on 29 points in the Eastern Conference on the outside looking in. And 3 points for them would be tantamount. They'd put them at 32, 1 point off a playoff spot. And with the teams that they have to play later on in the year, they really need all 3 points from this match against Chicago. They have matches versus Red Bulls and New England, along with this Chicago team. There's Alex Beeler blowing his whistle, and the second half begins with Cincinnati in possession, taking on Chicago Fire 2. 3 points on the line this afternoon. James Hadnot bringing you all the broadcast action from high up here at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. It was Cincinnati who dominated possession through the first 30 minutes of this match, more than 55% of the ball through the first 30 minutes. Then things started to shift more in Chicago's favor. That's when they had their shot on target. That's when they took 4 out of their 5 shots in the first half. What will the adjustment be for both sides here in this second half? This is Damian Niek. Now Kenyane does well. Finds Turdine. Fleming whips the ball out wide. Now Caicedo with the interception, and Caicedo will continue in possession, trying to start the attack, but racing back was Geni Kenyane, the South African youth international, played at the U20s and played at the University of Dayton before coming to Chicago. No substitutions for either side at the halftime break. There is a question for Chicago. Will we see David Pareba? It would be a glorious return to the pitch. Injured his knee early in February and has not made an appearance since the playoff loss to Columbus last year, way back in early October. That is last off of Kenyane. For Cincinnati, they did a lot of good in the first half. We talked about their 7 shots, a couple of them on target, but really did not test Brian Dowd. And their options, although they had them, they weren't clean. Chicago did a good job of putting pressure on them. Now Niek takes this through ball into the box. Damian Niek can't connect with a teammate arriving. It will be a corner. Niek sends this into the box. It's headed away. Nagel trying to control, dumping it back forward. Berg can't bring it down. Bomadim just siphons it towards Chirilla. Now Stefan Chirilla with Turdine in front of him. Center Su Ukulmane. Hurtado. Mangione settles things for Cincinnati. Peter Mangione wearing the captain's armband today. Has not had the season scoring as he did last year, but now Mbomadim right into the chest of Brian Dowd. Fleming forward to Turdine. Continuing the attack is Chicago Fire 2. Borso trying to slip into some space. But this match more wide open than half number 1. Going down quickly was Monsuru Opeyemi. contact. So Opeyemi having his left leg worked on. Already talked about some of the players that are no longer here with Cincinnati. Amir Daly and Brian Schaefer, and the word is that Opeyemi will be subbed off. So Yair Ramos Perez preparing to come on for Opeyemi. It's good that he's moving his left leg back and forth, the training staff doing that. But that was a scary sight for him, as he immediately, as soon as the ball went off his leg, went down. So just checking the structure and the fragility of that knee right now. Able to get up and walk off, which is a phenomenal sight for him. His day will come to a close, and as mentioned, substitution about to be made. So it will be Yair Ramos Perez who will come on
Substitution for FC
for Monsuru Opeyemi.
entering the match number 52, Yair Ramos. Leading the match number 41, Monsuru Opeyemi.
So the throw in right to Cincinnati, and they'll let it roll out for the goal kick. Cincinnati, a couple of rough matchups recently, falling to Carolina Core and Philadelphia Union. They're currently on a 3-match losing streak. And their first loss was Toronto 1-0. Coach Ty Marshall talking about those matches and how there were just moments where they didn't play to their potential. Cincinnati not playing to their potential, it's put them in the position that they are in. We mentioned that they're going to play 3 of the top 5 teams in the East down the stretch, this being one of them in Chicago. They'll have a matchup versus New England and Red Bulls. But Orlando currently holds that final playoff spot, and on decision day, it will be Cincinnati playing Orlando. So that matchup, not only of high importance, but it might dictate who's going to be that final participant in the Eastern Conference playoffs. For Chicago, not in any danger of missing out on the postseason. Need just 3 points over their last couple of matches to make the playoffs. If they can win today, they would clinch a playoff spot. And for Coach Makovich, he talked about some of the players that are no longer here, in Claudio Cassano, Diego Konings, Dean Bolts, all 3 who really ingratiated themselves into this Chicago team, who are part of some of their best scoring outputs. Obviously Cassano with 10 goals, 10 assists, was working on what might have been an MVP type season. This is Hurtado. And Bomadem slipped forward to Mangione. Yair Ramos receives it back from Chirilla. And that'll be a foul as Mangione takes the strike. Finishing the point on Chicago, and some of those key players like Cassano, Bolts, Konings, who was a very good center back. He said that the new players that will be coming up will have to grow in camaraderie, try to have similar connections Josue Fromer comes off. Darius Height will come on for Chicago. But they said they have 5 weeks to really grow as a team. That's what these next 5 weeks are going to be about for Chicago as they try to not only make the playoffs, but make some noise in MLS Next Pro's second season. Height quickly into the action. There is a whistle behind the play. Foul as Trip Fleming ended up on the pitch. Fleming, of course, won MLS Next Cup in 2021 as a member of the Chicago Fire Academy. He played for Chicago Fire 2 back in 2023, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists in 18 matches before going on to college. Alpha Diouf quickly into Fleming. Height off the ball. Kenyane working past Hurtado. Nice ball into Height, but the goalkeeper, Slade Hall, off his line for the clearance. Things opening up now for Chicago. Montiel Nagel takes the touch and it rolls through to Hurtado. And Bomadam slipping towards Stefan Chirilla, but the two can't connect. And again, as this match starts to open up, that favors Chicago. Perez with the tap to take it away. Chirilla pushed off the ball by Borso, and he glides around Carson Locker. Advantage will be played, or so we thought. The ball will be brought back behind midfield for the Chicago free kick. It looked like something promising was brewing there for Chicago, but Alex Beeler deciding that the ball needed to be brought back. 58th minute of action. This portion of the match is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Still no score. 7 shots in the first half for Cincinnati, 4 shots for Chicago, just 1 shot on target for the Fire. Long ball. Berg, poor touch. Chirilla. Now the shot. And Mangione gives Cincinnati the lead. Peter Mangione makes it 1-0. FC Cincinnati on top. And in matches like this with a playoff feel, sometimes it's a mistake that is the difference. And Stefan Chirilla is the man that makes this run. And Hugo Berg, just a little errant touch. Chirilla wanted it more in the end. The ball dropped kindly to Mangione, and he did not make a mistake. So Cincinnati, the all-important opening goal. And Peter Mangione happy to have it.
FC Cincinnati 2 goals scored by number 49, Peter Mangione. The goal was scored in the 59th minute of play.
There's Height. Montiel searching for a penalty there. You see Tyrone Marshall wanting something to come for Montiel, who fell in the box trying to create an opportunity. There was no contact. Now Chicago, who's been very quiet on the day. Cincinnati has come out inspired since the opening whistle. And they due to have this lead. They've done the work to earn it. Does Chicago have an answer? Plenty of time remaining. Just under 30 minutes left in this match, plus added time. As Chicago now will need 2 goals if they want a playoff spot clinched here today. They have the ability to do so. 56 goals scored on the year for Chicago. That's second in the league. Are without key pieces today. No Jason Shukaluk, who leads the team in goals with 12. No Claudio Cassano, who leads the team in assists with 10. And now Chirilla working against Alpha Diouf. That's been a good matchup today. And Alpha Diouf has won it more times than not. Play quickly resumes for Chicago. Chirilla takes one right to the face. He seems to be okay as he will walk it off. Coach Mike Makovich saying that Cincinnati was going to come in playoff mode. This was going to be a good litmus test for his Fire side, to see where they're at, how they can kind of create and grow camaraderie between the guys on the pitch now in comparison to those that were there throughout the middle part of the season. Obviously, college soccer has started, so the young collegiate players not with the team now, the players that have been loaned out. And so a chance to, again, reconnect, recalibrate here down the stretch for Chicago. Made the playoffs last season. Made it to the Eastern semifinals. Cincinnati, of course, made the playoffs last year after winning the Eastern Conference in the regular season after being at the bottom of the Eastern Conference the 2 seasons prior. Coach Ty Marshall just enjoying the process of being a part of this space, knowing that there's foundations that have to be set, and then being able to reap the fruits of your labor after setting those foundations. Last year was the reaping of what was sown in the years prior. And when you have a Gerardo Valenzuela who's getting multiple minutes with the first team, and Amir Daly who had spent time with the first team but now plays with Colorado in the Western Conference, a team that has worked their way into playoff position. You have players like a Brian Schaefer going on, Stefan Chirilla, who have earned a first team contract. Those are all things that also showcase success in this space. Now Hurtado in the attack. Lots of green grass. Can't pick out a teammate arriving. And so although things not as clear in regards to making the playoffs in 2025 as they were in 2024, still a lot of things to be proud of. And Coach Marshall takes all of what some might seem as the bad with the good, but nothing bad when you have players that are working into first team positions, earning contracts, to being developed. So you actually say take the good with the great. And both Bomadem shuts down the run. Kenyane keeps this in play. Around to Alpha Juve. 66th minute of action. Cincinnati in front by a goal thanks to Peter Mangione. Niek can't keep this in play. Ukulmana. He'll keep possession. Also, another player mentioned by Coach Marshall as somebody that's going to step up is Andre Chirilla. He's unavailable tonight for yellow card accumulation. Now in Bomadem. And in Bomadem with a rocket. Not too far off again. This portion of the match is brought to you by Buick GMC. 67th minute. Chicago has been quiet. This is unlike the Fire, but it's also been due to Cincinnati defensively. Mangione forces the turnover. Chirilla drawing it back across. Locker cannot take the strike. Kenyane goes back to Hugo Berg. Niek, who's been playing a little bit more on the left side, close to the touchline rather than in that center forward role. Borso, a missed touch. Could this be trouble for Chicago? Caicedo waiting for options. Mangione joins the attack. Slides to Kinji and Bomadem, isolated against Gani Kenyane. And Bomadem, along with Stefan Chirilla, lead Cincinnati in goals with 5. Now Yair Ramos. Ukulmane on the overlap. Chirilla sends it inside. And it's Mangione who mistimes his jump. Upset with himself, wanted to do more with that cross. Niek turns it over. And Bomadem with plenty of space. Kinji and Bomadem. And Alpha Juve is there as the last line of defense again. Stefan Chirilla. Mangione. And now this shot is well wide by Yair Ramos. You see Bomadem at the bottom of your screen. Can't believe he didn't double the lead. It was Bomadem 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Brian Dowd came out and made himself big. And Alpha Juve cleaned things up at the goal line. Then Mangione couldn't take a shot himself. But those are the moments in matches like this, playoff-type matches, where things tend to come back and bite you. Those are the moments, those are the adverse moments that Coach Tyrone Marshall talks with his team about having to showcase the quality that we possess, being better in those moments. Because those are the difference between wins and losses. And when you get to the playoffs, between advancing and your season coming to a close, can Chicago take advantage of the lifeline? Long ball, Montiel picks it up. Corner coming. Last off of Caicedo. Montiel lifts this ball in over the hands of Hall. That's offside. That went through the hands of the goalkeeper. Almost was disastrous. But Cincinnati still clings to this 1-goal lead. Bomadam isolated against Kenyane. Numbers coming back defensively for Chicago. Caicedo just enough to connect with Chirilla. There's Height trying to defend. Now Carson Locker turns. Nagel retreating defensively, stops the attack. Cincinnati looking for that second goal, which would be huge. Ramos forces the turnover. And Bomadam finds Chirilla, and Stefan Chirilla drags it just too far past that left post. Throw in coming for Chicago. Will be Borso. Mention his prowess. The former Wake Forest Demon Deacon scored the game-winning goal in overtime to send Wake Forest to the NCAA Elite Eight. Now Kenyane being held up by Mbomadem. Finds Niek. Montiel. Height. Still with it. There's Height. Commits the foul. It's good defending there by William Cusel. Substitutions about to be made for Chicago.
Entering the match for the first time in 2025, number 29.
David Pareba being announced on the loudspeaker right now. A moment for him. His first appearance of the season.
Also entering the match, number 43.
It's fantastic sight for somebody that had so much success last year. Other substitutions coming on. Emir Herrera comes on for Dylan Borso. And Ulu Oyakunla also coming on. He comes on for Hugo Berg. Yair Ramos. Mangione can't connect with Carson Locker. '76th minute. Still plenty of time remaining for Chicago to find an equalizer. Cincinnati has already shown that they could add a goal. So still a lot to unfold this afternoon in Bridgeview. Montiel held up by Carson Locker. That'll be a foul. And Carson Locker will receive a yellow card for delaying the restart. And with Carson Locker picking up that yellow card, he was already on the way out. And the substitution will be made. So Brandon Crystal comes on for Carson Locker, and Tega Ikoba will come on as well for Peter Mangione. Mangione, who has the lone goal on the day. Tega Ikoba comes on with 3 goals scored this season. And Ikoba is a big player, played last year with Portland. Has a strong frame, a tall frame, and can hold up play really well. One thing that they're trying to really help develop Ikoba is making the right runs at the right time, because he has the pace and has the profile to be a impressive number 9. Here will come in to provide fresh legs at the top of this press and make things difficult for Chicago to create find anything in the attack. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allstate. 78th minute. Pareba almost continues in possession. And Bomadem can't connect with Chirilla, making the run. Now Kenyane out past the touchline for a Cincinnati throw. Ikoba again trying to use his size. Can't keep possession. Than make a mistake, Oyakunla launches the ball out. A deep throw-in coming for Cincinnati. Ikoba back to Hurtado. The two playing pass in close quarters. This will roll out for a Cincinnati corner. Kenji and Bomadem in the 80th minute. Sends in the corner. It's headed away. And will bounce out for a Cincinnati throw. Matches of this magnitude aren't always going to be pretty. But if you're Cincinnati, you just want to have one more goal than your opponent when things are all said and done to keep pace in that playoff race. Ikoba, Caicedo, now Yakunla nodding it forward. Pareba wins possession and slips it forward to Niek. Niek, shot, save! Slade Hall, the 17-year-old, steps up. Niek still looking for that first goal since coming over. This is just his second appearance, his first start. And Slade Hall in his first start with a huge save. As Cincinnati looks for the clean sheet and all 3 points. Second minute, Niek prepares to take the corner. Outswinging ball and launching himself for that header was Yarkaev Caicedo. Slade Hall sends the ball away. Montiel in close quarters. Pareba's ball to Nagel. And now, this is Niek once again. Isolated against Hurtado, and Hurtado wins this battle as Niek was working into the box. Excellent defending right now for Cincinnati, holding on to this lead, but now Darius Height is brought down. So a free kick upcoming for Chicago. Is David Pareba. 20 goals last season, 18 in the regular season when he won the Golden Boot. The reigning MLS Next Pro MVP. Launching the ball in. Wow, what a ball! But Oyagunla could not latch onto it. A perfect ball from Pareba. And Oyakunla just could not make contact. '85th minute. Hall fires away the goal kick. Montiel trying to connect quickly with Pareba. Ball is out of play. Throw in for Chicago. Nervy moments now for Cincinnati with this 1-goal lead. We talk about points being at a premium at this point of the year. Cincinnati would work into 11th place in the Eastern Conference, just 1 point out of a playoff spot, with a matchup with Orlando at the end of the year, who currently has that final playoff spot. Fleming slid forward. Montiel has the pullback. Pareba, he's brought down, and a penalty. David Pareba, his first appearance of the season, his first appearance since last year's playoffs, and he earns a penalty for Chicago. This was pulled back right to Pareba, and it was Yair Ramos who came through the back of Pareba. And no one else was going to take this penalty. So some gamesmanship here from Cincinnati. Wanting the ball to be placed a certain place, 12 yards away. Pareba knots things up. 20 goals last year, an injury in February. His first time stepping onto the pitch, he had to score. Here's the foul. Pareba in the right position, had Ramos go right through his back. And he stepped up to the spot and scored. Now, 3 minutes remain plus added time. Chicago will look for a go-ahead as they have the opportunity to punch their ticket into the playoffs.
The goal was scored in the 87th minute of play.
David Pareba, who was the Golden Boot winner, as mentioned, scored in both matches in the playoffs last year. He is not new to this, but true to this. There's a foul at midfield. Free kick taken. On, not taking any chances, just clearing it away. Ball comes centrally. Amir Herrera back to Diouf. Now Cincinnati with an opportunity, and Bomadem with lots of green grass to play with. Ikoba tracks this down. Slipping, Tega Ikoba takes it outside of the box. Hasn't been able to really gain his footing. And Bomadem can't connect with Chirilla. Herrera. Nagel picks up some pace. Both Niek and Pareba were on the same line and weren't on the same page as we've reached the 90th minute.
Substitution for FC Cincinnati 2. Entering match number 82, Camden Spire.
So Camden Spire will come on for Yamir Ukulmane for the final couple of moments plus added time. There was a substitution made earlier of Monsuru Opeyemi, so we expect a couple of minutes of added time. Maybe some more drama ensuing this afternoon from Bridgeview, Illinois. Montiel Can't break through. The back heel is turned over to Nagel. Now Niek. Pareba. Wide to Kenyane. And the official word is a minimum of 4 minutes of added time. Cincinnati has Chicago had the lead, did Cincinnati. Now Chicago has FC Cincinnati on the ropes. Kenyane continues his run. Niek. Pareba hits his teammate. Niek can't work through Hurtado. And now all the way back to Brian Dowd. Height. Now the ball's free. Montiel. What might be the winner for Chicago. Joyner Montiel makes it 2-1 Fire. Darius Height does so well here, just a little tap, and Caicedo can't clear it. So with Montiel on side, the finish. And the winner. Receives a yellow card, but will take the caution because the glory comes with it. And what a dagger into the backs of Cincinnati.
A yellow card caution has also been issued to Chicago Fire 2's number 49, Jordan Montiel.
1 minute remains of added time. Can Cincinnati rummage something from this match? Because a loss really impacts their playoff chances. Niek still with it. Kenyane. Niek. Flipping forward. And this will be a throw-in for Chicago. Time running out for Cincinnati. And time might just be running out on their season. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Brian Dowd. Minimal time left. Will there be any time left for Cincinnati? You see Ty Marshall waving everyone forward. Last gasp. Montiel pushes this out. And Diouf actually gets to it before it would have been a corner. Throw in. We played our minimum of 4. Cincinnati still with it. And Bomadem. Hurtado. Bomadem can't put it into the box. Ball is cleared away, and Chicago comes from behind and clinches a playoff spot. The final from SeatGeek Stadium, Chicago Fire 2, FC Cincinnati 1.
FC Cincinnati 2-1.
And what a moment for this Chicago Fire side. And what a moment for that man. Number 29, David Pareba. As this Fire side went down by a goal, Peter Mangione made the difference for Cincinnati initially, but then it was the MVP. His first appearance since last season, rehabbed all year to give himself a chance late. David Pareba steps on the pitch and makes an impact, as you would expect, the former Chicago Fire Academy man. His first goal of the year. And he is your man of the match. Well, Chicago Fire 2, FC Cincinnati 1. That's your final. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon from SeatGeek Stadium. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. With my entire fantastic crew, we say so long from Bridgeview and have a blessed evening.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.